In this video, we will be going over the correct procedure for a credentialed tester to submit test documentation associated with vehicles subject to the Clean Truck Check or CTC program that do not have onboard diagnostics or OBD. First and foremost, only a CARB credentialed tester can perform a CTC test and submit the test results. Non-OBD trucks must be tested using an opacity or smoke meter, following the Society of Automobile Engineers or SAE J1667 test procedure. Additionally, the credentialed tester will be required to conduct a visual inspection of the emissions-related components of the truck's engine. The content of this video will cover how to properly submit the test results for a non-OBD vehicle only, and doesn't include any test procedures. If you need instruction on performing CTC tests, there are other videos available. Let's get to it. The documentation a credentialed tester must submit for the CTC testing of a diesel non-OBD vehicle consists of two items: the test strip from the smoke meter itself and the completed Vehicle Emissions Control Equipment Inspection Form. Make sure that these forms are complete and correct, or they may not be accepted by the CTC Viz staff. Hybrid or alternatively fueled vehicles in the CTC program can run on non-gasoline or non-diesel type fuels, like propane or compressed natural gas. These vehicles are non-OBD compliant if their engines were certified to a model year prior to 2018. Since there is no opacity test that is applicable for this type of vehicle, only the completed and signed 2-page inspection form is required. A majority of non-OBD vehicles that need testing for compliance with the CTC program will require the use of an opacity or smoke meter. This is true for all diesel vehicles in the CTC program. After completing an opacity test, the smoke meter will print out a test strip. A complete smoke meter test strip will include the following information: the test date, results for 3 separate opacity tests, the average reading of the 3 tests, a pass or fail designation, and the tester's signature on the form. If any of the information is missing, the test strip may not be accepted by the CTC Viz staff, and the vehicle owner's account would not be updated. If the vehicle being tested is non-gasoline as well as non-diesel, the opacity test does not apply. For help with additional questions regarding test results, please reach out to hdim@arb.ca.gov. To complete a non-OBD vehicle inspection for the CTC program, the credentialed tester will also need to complete the visual inspection form shown here. This form is designed to be filled out electronically, but it can be printed and filled out manually as well. If you choose to fill the form out by hand, please print legibly to ensure CTC Viz staff can read and interpret your submission properly. To complete a test submission to CTC Viz for a non-OBD vehicle, the credentialed tester must scan both pages of the completed and signed Vehicle Emissions Control Equipment Inspection Form only as a PDF. If applicable, sign, upload, and attach the accompanying smoke test opacity receipt or electronic test results. Some smoke meters have the capability of uploading the test strip directly to your computer. Then attach both PDF files to the email. The email with both attachments must be emailed to non-obd-test-submission@arb.ca.gov. The subject line of the email to CARB must contain the vehicle's VIN and only the VIN. An example is shown on the screen. Finally, any typos in the VIN will result in the test not being applied to the vehicle. This includes owner VIN typos in their CTC Viz accounts, as well as the VIN in the email subject line. There is no need to add any text to the body of the email. Just click Send once you have the format correct and the files attached. Some common issues CARB staff have seen with the email submission process are sending the wrong file type. Only PDF files are acceptable. Sending files for more than one vehicle. Only one email per vehicle, and only the PDF files for that vehicle should be sent per each email. And finally, information other than the VIN in the subject line. Just the VIN and only the VIN. Once the email is sent, CARB will send an auto-reply to the HDI&M tester confirming receipt of the non-OBD vehicle compliance test email. If you do not receive a reply within 3 business days, please check for errors and resubmit. Once the passing test submission is reviewed and accepted, the vehicle owner's CTC Viz account will be updated and the owner can print out a vehicle compliance certificate, like the one pictured here, if they wish. If you have submitted a non-OBD test results email to CARB and the results are not accepted or processed, there is likely a formatting or data issue that you will need to correct before CARB staff can move forward. There are several reasons why an emailed CTC test submission for non-OBD vehicles may be rejected and or not processed. These issues are covered in an FAQ for test results at the web address shown, and I've covered some of these issues already, but I will briefly go over the information. Your non-OBD test submission will not be processed if the most up-to-date inspection form has not been used. Please download the latest form from CARB. Anything but the VIN is in the subject matter line of the email. Please ensure that your VIN in the subject line matches exactly the VIN in CTC Viz. Your VIN has a typo and cannot be applied to the vehicle in the system. This typo can be in your email subject line or in the customer's vehicle account. All required inspection documents are not attached to the email. Diesel engines require the form as well as a smoke opacity test. The file type of your test attachments is wrong. Only Adobe Acrobat PDF files are acceptable. More than one vehicle test results are included with the email. And finally, the Vehicle Emission Control Label, or ECL, is either missing or illegible. There are just a few additional items you need to consider about the processing of non-OBD test submissions. Please understand that non-OBD test submissions can take up to 3 business days for CARB to process. Submitting a passing non-OBD test within the 90-day submission window will update your account and change the test due date to the next required test due date. And finally, if you do not receive a reply from CARB for your non-OBD test submission, or you do not see the due date change in your account, you will need to have the test information resubmitted, and your tester will need to follow the instructions at the website shown here. Well, that's it. You now have all the information you need to submit CTC test results for a non-OBD vehicle. Before I leave for now, I wanted to give some contact information and web resources in case there are more questions. The email hdim@arb.ca.gov is the most appropriate way to contact staff for additional help. The response times are typically low and issues can be resolved quickly. CTC staff can also assist via email or phone, and the CTC program webpage can be reached at the address shown or by scanning the QR code. That's it for now. Join us again for other helpful video content.